I wanted to bring the people of Frankfort a good promotion, a good wrestling show, so I decided to start KEPW.
Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling. We are based out of Frankfort, Kentucky. We're a young organization that's on the up and rise.
We have people come in from far as Somerset to see our show,
I'd never been to an independent wrestling event until I was in wrestling. And it was completely not what I expected. I was expecting, where's all the lights and stuff, And obviously it's not like that. Not on the independent scene, lower budget. It's all about in-ring stuff, We're not what you watch on WWE. We're not what you watched when Stone Cold and all them were big. It's old school heroes versus villains, good guys versus bad guys.
As far as wrestling styles are concerned, Eastern Kentucky, it seems like the fans gravitate more towards the back and forth, more classic style wrestling. Central Kentucky seems like it's kind of a mix of the two. You got a little bit more modern style, and you've got the classic as well. And then Western Kentucky seems more towards that current modern style of professional wrestling.
We have done tremendous business as far as having people to come and support what we do, so much so that we started giving back to the community. We done a program last year for a young lady that was battling cancer, a small girl. And so it was called Headlock for Hollies. And we raised a good deal of money for this young girl. And coat and blanket drive over the winter, and we went and we gathered up about 10 large bags of coats and blankets that we donated to the homeless shelter and whatnot. We have an obligation to our fan base to give them everything we got because they support us 365 days a year. That fan can ask the superstar for their autograph, a picture, whatever it may be, and we're right there trying to get a relationship with our fans. When you go to the big dance, the fans are kept from those superstars. They cannot intermingle with their superstars. They can't get that one-on-one contact with that superstar. But in independent professional wrestling, they have that.
Wrestling is all about the children. When you can walk out and a kid can walk up to you and their eyes light up, it's the greatest thing in the world. As for a bad guy, a heel, he can walk out and say some bad things to the little kid, and it's the parent that steps up, and then the kid can see their dad or their mom back him up.
I started here in Frankfort in 1997. I had a little store out on Georgetown Road. We trained before I even had my first match, about 6 months, 7 months. And then our first show was in a barn at the Franklin County Fairgrounds. The big Doss man is the intimidator. He comes out, of course he's, when I'm on the baby side of the ring, I'm shaking hands and letting everybody know that, but he still gets in that ring and sees the other guys across from him, it gives the stare down and letting them know that, it's business.
My name is Lemon Juice McGee. I am a preeminent professional wrestling manager, or at least a serviceable professional wrestling manager. I don't know. There's not really a persona for it. It's just me. It's just me. I'm just kind of a jerk a lot of times.
Here at KEPW, I'm still myself of who I am everywhere else, Matty B. I've kind of just developed into being as much like myself as I can, but I like to make it a little bit more entertaining, so I kind of turn the volume up on who I am. It's been a lot of fun, and I want to keep it going as long as we can.
I was always a fan when I was younger. I just, I think when I got started, it was 2001. I was working at Walmart. And a guy I knew was one of the local wrestlers, and he was in there with his wife, and I just started talking to him about it. Next thing I know, I was gone every weekend for years. Well, you know, everybody asked me, why don't you need a name? Why don't you have a name? Well, I've never wanted to be anything other than Kyle Maggart. I've always been an outgoing, outspoken individual, and I mean, I'm just me.
I've always loved wrestling. My dad and my uncle started wrestling when I was 11 years old. I didn't start wrestling until I was 17. For a son, their father's always the biggest, their hero. Growing up, I've always done what my dad done. He played football when he was younger. I played football. He played softball. I played softball. He got into wrestling, and it goes on throughout my life. I've done what he done.
Well, the longer that you wrestle, the more experience that you have, meaning that the better that you get. You can't really teach experience. And when I first started, you know, I knew a little bit about wrestling just from watching and studying when I was growing up, but it was really a shock to see how it is actually done and feel, you know, how it actually works and go through training.
And it's not just, okay, we're going to teach you how to do these moves. There's a lot more to wrestling than that. There's, you know, locker room etiquette, there's professionalism, all that stuff. Like realistically, you know, guys should show up to a wrestling event in at least khakis and a polo shirt. I mean, it's work.
Of course, my dad and my uncle trained me. Back then, they wanted to, not only wanted me to be good in wrestling, but at the same time be tough in life. It's a little different today because most workers, they want to be trained for about a month and jump in the ring, and it's not that easy. It's more to it. You got to trust the other guy that you're in there dancing with.
Now, the main reason I wrestle is to have a place for the younger crew to come in to wrestle. You know, I'm getting up in the age, so I'm kind of getting out of the aspect of the wrestling end of it and giving the younger guys, a good place, good atmosphere, a good location, you know, a good place for them to come in and train and wrestle.
If you're going to do wrestling, wrestling is something that you got to love, and you just can't like wrestling.
Most of the guys we have, I mean, it doesn't take a lot of encouragement. They want to learn. They want to be in the ring. They want to train. They want, you know, and they want to, you know, make the crowd pop, you know. So they all know what their job is. They're not, you know, I don't have to do anything to them or say anything to them. My speeches is, hey, let's kill it.
You know, KEPW is about having fun, putting on a great card of wrestling, and giving back to their community and to the people that believe in them, the people that allowed them to be here a year later, and we're going to be here more than a year.
I think it go a lot of places. You know, my opinion, being the promoter and the CEO of KEPW, there's no limits. WWE, you know, I've talked to people about booking the Yum Center and bringing us in there. So I don't have, you know, I'm not at the bottom. I'm trying to go up.
Other places than Hazardworth. I'm doing an interview for the love of God. Jesus. All I ask is for a little quiet, little peace, a little quiet. How am I supposed to get over? God. God. Who did that? Was it Jay?
No, that was me. No, that was
Damn rookie. Damn rookie. You're good, bro.
37 years old. 37 years of hard living.